There are a variety of tools at our disposal for customizing business forms in QuickBooks. Using basic tools, we can do things like modify the colors. If we download templates, those files already include all of the features and settings that we need. If we utilize a combination of out of the box templates, templates that we have customized, and templates that we have downloaded, we can be challenged by having inconsistencies. And inconsistencies are kind of unsettling to people who view our reports and documents, and it can actually damage our professionalism. How do we remember accurately all of those customizations that we may have made? Exactly what color of blue was that we chose for our color scheme? And what was that font? I think it may have been Arial or Calibri, but they kind of look similar on screen. Well, one of the design features that QuickBooks has provided since about 2011 is something known as the QuickBooks Forms Customization Tool. It's available online and helps us create consistent forms by creating a form design instead of working with individual templates. It's very easy to access and use. Let's go ahead and activate our list menu and then bring up the templates list. From the templates list, in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the templates button or menu. And when we expand that, we can move down and see an option that says Create Form Design. This is going to launch the Form Designer in a web-based window, but all from within QuickBooks. This is just another interface that allows us to apply many of the things that we can do with basic customization. We see at the top of the screen that we can work with the background and logo, the colors and fonts, as well as the grid style, and then we can confirm and apply our decisions. The difference is that these settings will not be applied to a specific template. All right, let's go ahead and work through it, and then we'll see how it's all applied. We can choose to add a company logo. We can click on Add, browse to our file, and make a selection. Now, I'm going to select this right from the desktop. And if we scroll down just a little bit, we will see that the name of the file we're looking for is actually All Steel Hammer Logo. This file can be found in your Chapter 11 working files. Once we get that selected, all we need to do is have it uploaded. So we'll click the Upload button on the bottom center of the window. When it uploads and converts it if necessary, it gives us a preview and also asks us to rename it. You usually want to keep something here that's simple. We might add our logo, and then we need to click Add one more time to finish adding the logo to our design. Notice that the screen is dynamic, and as we make choices, it changes a little bit. Now we have the opportunity to either change our logo or to remove it completely, as well as add a shadow. The second step is adding a background. We can do all backgrounds, or we can choose by certain industries. We'll go ahead and choose the contractor industry to narrow down what we're looking at. When we find an option that we want, we can simply give that a click to select it. Don't forget that sometimes you do need to, or you can, scroll down to see the rest of this window. There may be options down below that you don't see otherwise. On the right-hand side, we also get to see a preview, and we can use the zoom control at the bottom of the window to help us see the design a little bit more clearly. When we make the selection that we need for our background, we'll go back up to the top and click or tap the Next button. Now we're at step 2, which is to select our colors and fonts. The default color scheme is called Design Default, but we can choose a combination of just a few choices, but hopefully enough to give us just a little bit of variation. We're going to use darker gray. We can then choose to change our overall font. If your company has branding requirements and part of that is a font set, then this would be the place to choose the appropriate font. For our purposes, we will just leave the font as it is, and we're ready to move on to the next step by using the Next button, which is now a little bit more to the right than it was before. Now, the grid style is something that always catches people off guard because many people simply don't consider it. If we have looked at all of our business forms, the grid was there. We just may not have noticed it. What we can do is determine any combination of the grid style, meaning the lines, and the shading that is shown as well, which helps people more easily read our business forms. We can do grids with and without shading. We can also do grid lines only without any shading at all. Or you can do the opposite, which would be shading only with no grid lines. It all depends on what look and what feel we want for our business forms. Since construction kind of has a little bit of structure involved in it, I think we're going to go with grid lines only. Once again, move to the upper right and click or tap Next, and we actually have finished with all of the decisions. Now we're ready to simply save it and apply the design to our QuickBooks forms. The first time that you use the designer, good things will happen, and that will be applied to all of our forms consistently across all of the forms in our company file. But in this case, we get a little message, and this message deserves a little bit of explanation as well as how this program actually works. I have to say that, in my personal opinion, I think this is a nice tool. It makes it easy to make changes across the entire company file, and there's a big benefit to that. We just saw how simple it is to use. There's nothing technical, but again, it has that far reach and can be applied very easily. So far, sounds like a pretty good idea. Unfortunately, there is one, shall we call it a caveat, that we need to be aware of. We can use these designs as long as we want once they're applied to the company file. No problem there. Once a design is supplied, though, we only have a limited amount of time in which we can edit our design or create new ones and apply them to our file and forms. After that, Intuit wants money, and that's what we're seeing here in this message. The cost applies to new designs or to apply an original design to new forms. Basically, anytime we make changes. In some ways, the small amount of money, which is about $5, is not that significant compared to the amount of time it might save us. But it is money that we have to pay to make these types of changes. Each time we pay, it does reset the clock, and we have another period of time when we can make changes for free. I generally try to steer clear of recommendations and add on tools and features that include additional costs. This is one service, however, that if we will use it, does offer an efficient job of ensuring our forms are consistent across a company file. That can be an invaluable opportunity since it not only equates to saving valuable time on our part, but also ensuring the presentation of our company to our customers and vendors remains consistent. So, would it be worth the $4.99 to have that design we just created applied to everything in one more click? Maybe. That's a choice that you will have to make. If we instead choose to say no thanks, then it will simply bring us back out from whence we started. If it's the first time that we've ever created a design, or if we pay the $4.99, then what happens is the template is downloaded to our company file and it opens the basic customizations window where we can customize it even further using those or additional customization features.